Hi, everyone. Welcome to Thrive Thursday. I'm Jen Fredericks here with Shane Reed, who's written this week's article. And Shane, I noticed that you had that blah feeling.
I did have that blah feeling, yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, what's that all about?
Well, I think, it's normal for me, I would say. I don't know
I
if
think
it's
it's normal
normal
for
for
a
everybody
lot of
else.
people.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. This experience, the article that I wrote about, or the topic that I wrote on, I think was, I've discovered that it is the blah feeling for me comes very much from a disconnection with the why and the reason for what I'm doing, um, why I'm doing some work in some whatever capacity that is. It doesn't matter if it's coaching or um, I guess my other job is coaching too, but uh, or even working on a project in the house. If I don't care about it, it's going to be something that I'm unattached from and be seen as, and I can definitely see it as dull and just life sucking instead of life giving. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. Another life sucking event, uh, passionless event, at least time period uh, in my life a couple weeks ago, and just kind of how I went through it over the course of, I don't know, close probably 2 weeks. I
Mhm.
kind of just kind of messing with it and seeing, asking myself different questions like I did like I said, mentioned in the article. But ultimately we're back on the train, and funny, ironically enough, I'm more filled with passion uh, than I have been since the season began. So it's been really cool to see the turnaround from a, I don't know, I don't want to say hopeless point, but from a point that was uninspiring.
Sure. Well, what I love about what you experienced, not that you experienced it, but that during the experience, you recognized that you didn't like the way that you were feeling in life. You didn't like the way that you were experiencing coaching or experiencing life. And so it was first the awareness that
Mm-hmm.
brought you to the point of your next step, which can you share with the viewers what you did next to sort of help put a new perspective around what you were feeling and how you wanted to experience coaching?
Yeah, so really, I mean, feeling that way um, just sucks, and it's not something that I want to continue. Obviously, I want to enjoy life and what I'm doing and all that great stuff, um, and so when I started to feel like this, I was like, oh my gosh, I there's no way I can continue to do this if this is how I'm going to feel. There's no way, and so I think that admission or that statement that I made to myself was like, I won't be doing this for very long if this is how I'm going to feel, while I'm doing this. Um, and so when I admitted that to myself, or when I accepted that, I think is when my questions started to shift,
Mm-hmm.
because I got into the place of, oh wow, I could lose this, what I have, you know what I mean? And um, it, that kind of feeling made me think of, okay, well, what do I actually have, and why did I actually start this, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So uh, I think just accepting the fact that all I could give this all away. It doesn't. At the end of the day, um, this thing that I'm doing, is this coaching, is um, something that I didn't have to have in my life.
Mm-hmm. And what I love is that you did tap back into your desire. What I heard you say is that you started asking the questions from that place of desire rather than what's actually in your life right now and what do you really want to have in your life. And that was able to allow you to shift your perspective, start asking yourself different questions, and then really move forward in how you wanted to feel. And that I think I hear you saying that you do realize that you really want both of the coaching types that you do, the volleyball coaching as well as life coaching in your life. And I mean, I'm certainly thankful that you found those questions to help shift your perspective, and because it's so much fun to interact with you and with everyone when we're not feeling, meh or blah. Although we all know it's all normal human stuff, and we're going to feel that at some point. So it's the point when you get to realize that it's not serving you anymore, then you can do something about it, which is super cool. And I love that you shared that with everyone.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, you don't have to be stuck with that blah feeling at all. I don't know, it was very interesting because when I was contemplating all this, or when I was, just whatever, being introspective about it, there's a point, there's something in me that says, you're going to be doing, when you become an extra, or whatever, when you become connected with something, a community and a profession, it's something that, you're good at it, so you just keep doing it, and you keep doing it until you die. But and for me, that was one of the things that brought on that hopelessness feeling. And so, just recognizing the fact that your career and your expertise and, whatever blah feeling you're feeling, it doesn't have to continue. You can change your situation. And so I think me acknowledging that for myself was, like I said, when it definitely shifted. So
that's super cool. Again, I'm super grateful and thankful that you have those tools that you can maneuver and navigate life the way that you want to. And would really love to let the viewers know as well that there are many opportunities to learn about different tools and ways that you can start to shift your perspective and change how you're navigating and experiencing life if you want to. And you can do that by going to thrivehdc.com and checking out our upcoming events page, because we have a lot of great things coming up this spring that can help you change your perspective and experience of life. So before we wrap up, anything else that you'd like to put a bow on for the viewers, Shane?
Yeah, I also want to just recognize the fact that it doesn't matter, what position someone holds, whether it be a manager or an employee or a coach or whatever, the leader of whatever it happens to be. These blah feelings exist, and just because you're leading an organization, doesn't mean that you're not feeling them, and people are all human. Doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. So yeah, super true. Like we say here, one, you've got this because you can have the tools to find your way out of blah feelings, and two, it's all normal human stuff. Everyone's feeling all of these things at all different times, and that's perfectly fine. Absolutely. Until it's not serving you anymore, and then you can find your way out. Exactly. Cool. Well, thank you so much for the article this week, Shane. All right, thank you guys.